Good morning. We're talking the biggest box office draws. You have an actor you just got to see. If they're doing a movie, you're going to see it. That's what we're talking about. That's Morgan Wallen. One thing at a time on 101.1 KRMD. It is 9:10. I'm Mason in the morning. I am broadcasting live on the web, the World Wide Web. You can go to facebook.com/KRMD Mason. Give me a like and watch along. You can also go to YouTube. That's what it's called. YouTube. You can search for @Mason in the morning. There we are. You can always, of course, listen to me on the radio and every other way you can stream. If you got an Alexa, say, Alexa, play 101.1 KRMD, and then bam, there I am. Today, we are talking about box office draws. You have an actor or an actress that you see in a movie trailer that makes you go, got to see that movie. No matter what. Doesn't even matter what the movie's about. If that actor's in it, I'm going to see it. Everybody does, don't they? I think they do. I'm a movie guy, so I think that way. If somebody's going to be in this movie, I'm going to see it. But who is that person? And has it changed over the years? I've got an interesting survey that was done. A research group called the National Research Group conducted a nationwide survey asked people between the ages of 12 and 74 which actors have the most box office appeal, which ones they've got to see when they do it. Now, they did this before COVID. Carol says Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is on the list for sure. I think he made the top 10. We'll talk about it in just a little bit. But yeah, put it in the comments. If you got one, you can text it to 320-KRMD, who you have to see because things have changed. Before COVID, the top three were kind of interesting. Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., and Will Smith. They were the top three box office draws at that time. Before COVID hit, before we shut down the world for years, those were the top three. And I think it's interesting. It kind of makes sense, though. At that time, Robert Downey Jr. was doing all the Avengers stuff and still kind of does. Tina Barnes. Brad Pitt. She says Brad Pitt. Yeah, I think Brad Pitt's on the list. Probably top 10 too. We'll see. Keep putting them in the comments, whoever you have to see when you see him in a trailer. But those three were big time box office draws. Will Smith, Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr. You got Thor, you got Iron Man, and Will Smith. He was everywhere. You know, things have definitely changed for Will Smith since that he was at the top of this list. So I thought we'd run through it. We have the top 20 on the box office draws, and guess who's at number 20? At the very bottom of the list. Chris Hemsworth. Thor. And they think movies are making a big comeback now. I mean, this Mario Brothers movie over the weekend, the last 3 weeks, it's already made over $1 billion. This weekend, they hit the $1 billion mark. So it's interesting. And I mean, I'm sure the superhero movies are just as big a draw as they've always been. But Chris Hemsworth went from the top 3 down to 20. Morgan Freeman came in at number 19. Angelina Jolie at 18. Then Robert Downey Jr. Once again, kind of close to the bottom, 17. Still, you're in the top 20, and that's good no matter what. But says something, I think. What has changed since COVID and why? Why exactly? George Clooney's at number 16. I do have a text message. Let me check it. Keanu Reeves, yes. And Keanu Reeves is on the list. Keanu Reeves is at number 11. So we're not quite there yet. We're not quite to 11. But George Clooney at 16, then Harrison Ford. And remember, this is 2023. And I don't want to say too much, but I think the top of the list is going to start making you feel like the old school guys are making a little bit of a comeback. Just saying. But Harrison Ford at 15, then Adam Sandler at 14. I like to see that Adam Sandler's still on the list. Ryan Reynolds, he's one of my new favorites. I like Ryan Reynolds a lot. Number 13, Ryan Reynolds. Then Sandra Bullock at 12. And here's one that you guys named. And I thought he would be higher. Keanu Reeves. What do you think? Keanu Reeves at that part at 11? I thought he would have been higher. especially with all the John Wick movies. Keanu's everywhere. I'll see anything Keanu puts out for sure. If I see Keanu in a movie, I love the guy. I will see everything that he puts out. Kevin Hart's breaking into the top 10 here. And then Johnny Depp, I think it was Carol that said Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp in the top 10 at number 9. 8 is Leonardo DiCaprio, still a big box office draw. And right above Leonardo, the former number 1 before COVID, Will Smith. So Will Smith has dropped from 1 to 7. Still, you're in the top 10, so I think you're probably doing okay. But after the slap heard around the world, Will Smith definitely took a hit. Julia Roberts still big. She's at number 6 on this list. And are we starting to feel like it's a little bit back a little bit? We got somebody who says The Rock. Tina says The Rock. You got to see every Rock movie that you see. But Julia Roberts at number 6, which means we're entering the top 5 on the box office draw. Remember, this was a national research group study of 12 to 74-year-olds. So if it was little kids, they didn't count. And if it was over 74, they didn't ask. So that's the criteria here. But now we say the top 5. And to me, when I saw the top 5, I was like, we're going a little bit old school. A little bit. I don't want to call people old, though. I would say you're in my era for the majority of these. These were huge actors my entire life since I was growing up. Number 5, biggest box office draw in 2023, Denzel Washington. Then, number 4, Brad Pitt. Somebody said Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is at number 4. And then the top 3, we got Tom, and the. Tom, and the are the top 3. Number 3 is Tom Hanks. Number 2 is The Rock. And number 1, biggest box office draw in 2023. Kind of interesting. Tom Cruise. I feel like we're going back in time just a little bit. People are loving the actors that they've loved for the last 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. I mean, Tom Cruise has been doing it since maybe 80 something. Was he in the 70s maybe? I mean, you think about those ones where he was a high school kid. That's a big deal. Tom Cruise, number 1 big box office draw. And of course, I'm sure the new Top Gun has something to do with that. But The Rock is the only kind of newer school guy in the top 5. Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, and then The Rock. I thought that was interesting. But just put your favorite in there, the actor that you've got to see. You've got to see that movie as soon as you see the trailer. Even if the trailer looks dumb, but your favorite actor's in it, you're going to go see that movie. Put that in the comments. Kind of interesting. It's the old school guys. Tom, and the. The is not old. Is he? Maybe I'm getting too old and it feels like he's